Back in the shop today, and I've got two shovelhead top ends here I'm gonna pull off. There's a cone shovel. We're gonna do just a nice, I don't know, little chrome package on this one. So we're gonna chrome the rockers, cam cover, new push rod tube, stuff like that. I might polish it, I'm not sure yet. Polish or chrome. This is my motor. And this one we're gonna do the same. These will end up getting re-chromed. This is on a different timeline, but whenever I can. And then we're gonna focus today on splitting the rocker boxes. So I'm gonna show you guys how to do that. I've already started. I PB lubed everything up on the top, all the rocker studs. So those have been sitting for about 15 minutes. And we'll come in and we'll pull the main oil feed line here for the rockers and then the crossover tube and get to work. All right, so all our hardware's off. We're all loose on the rockers. Down here's our feed line, all the hardware. Keep it all organized so we don't lose anything, because most of this is pretty good, reusable for this motor. Take your soft hammer and give her a couple smacks, and it'll pop right off. Boxes are off, nice and quick. I'm almost 100% sure that the guides in this this head are completely worn. This motor's still fresh over here, but this needs quite a bit of love. So I'll end up taking the heads off on this later too. I think I'm actually gonna do a little sculpting on the fins, but we'll get to that when we do. So here's where we're at now. Rocker boxes are off, okay? And there's two ways you can do this. You can see there's a mount bolt right here that goes on the actual rocker box. And you can either do a complete split and shave this bolt totally out of it, or you can do a partial split and you can take just this top section out and leave the bolt. So what happens if you take the bolt out, technically speaking, it doesn't have as much mounting surface and things can get weird, so you could have a leak. If you leave the bolt, less leaks, doesn't look as good all the time. But yeah, that's really the two ways to do it. Either way to do this right, it should be done on a mill. And yeah, I'll put an indicator in off this bolt hole here, get a square since that's the center point, and then we'll just hack into it. It's gonna need a little bit of shaping and fine tuning, but that's how to start. Okay, so we're all centered out here in the mill. You see I just put a rod through there, so we're gonna go off that center bolt. Everything's lined up perfect. I'm gonna lock the ways, throw in a mill bit, and we're gonna start taking little passes at it. Well, I decided to end up going for a full split on these instead of the halfway. It's gonna look better at the end of the day, and you know what, if it leaks, it's my bike, so who cares. But okay, so I took the end mill down as far as I could before it lost all the stability. So now I'm just gonna bandsaw this out real quick, and then we'll come in with a Sharpie and we'll fine tune everything. And that's with a 5/8 mill bit on these ones. Okay, so everything's split here now. You see we got the oil passageways on each box. What I'm gonna do right now, since they're all gonna be split up now, I'm gonna come in and stamp on these heads so I know what's what. So I mean, I could figure it out either way, but I'm just gonna put a little stamp, rear, front, rear, or front, rear, front. So just so there's no confusion later on. So everything's marked. I don't know if you can see my little stamps there, but now I'm gonna come in and shape them. So I'm gonna take a Sharpie and I'm gonna shape these ridges off right here and kind of give them a rounded knucklehead-ish look. Yeah, so we're gonna do markings on those, put them on the belt sander and smooth everything out, and take these bottoms off too. So here's the marked lines we're gonna go for on the belt sander. See, we're just gonna curve everything, smooth it in nice. Same on the back here, I wanna take this ridge. And I'll match these lines right now and then we'll see what we got after I sand them. Well, I've done a little bit of cleanup sanding here. So this is your typical rocker block split right here. This is how they come out. This is how they usually look. Just round the top corners. Just do a little sculpting, call it a day. This is the side I'm gonna go a little crazier. So I'm gonna just come in and round everything and make it nice and smooth. May as well. My bike, I can do what I want on it. So I got a rough end on the belt sander. Now I'm gonna take it to a little, I'm gonna use a finger sander now and just come in and kind of fine tune everything. And then I'll probably switch to the Dremel and do one last pass on it. But I'm gonna match these ones up to these now. You can see where I pulled it all. These are all rounded now instead of squared. So yeah, we're gonna keep going. We're getting real close here now. I got most of the fine-tuned sanding done that I wanted to. I just wanted to put them back on, make sure everything looks square. The front head looks pretty good. I'm gonna leave all this. The rear head, I need to shave. You can see it's a little cocked here. So I need to come in and shorten this corner here. But besides that, everything looks good. They're nice and rounded. A little different look than stock. While they're up here, I'm going to tell you how I'm going to do the oiling system. So typically it comes out of here, out of the oil pump, and it runs straight up, right in the rear head. Then there's the passage feeds that you can see right here. They run head to head. Then you've got your crossover in the center, and then another passage feed head to head. So how I'm going to do it is I'm going to come off the bottom here. I'm going to come up and run it in two lines, so they'll split like outside oil or pan head. And it's going to come up, and I'm going to drill one hole for this rocker arm. So I'll do an 1/8 inch MPT here, and then I'll have a T, and it'll come right around to the rear. I'll do the same in the front. I'll have one single line come up, and it'll T right around in the rear. So it's a little more with the oil lines, but they work. So I'm going to fine tune this last rear one. Then I'm going to get ready to plug weld them. I'm going to pull the rocker shafts out finally. I don't even know why I left them in there, just because it doesn't matter at this point. But then I'll come in, fill these holes, sand it back down since I already have my angles, and go from there. So what I do on these, unless you completely pull the heads apart and bead blast them, I take an oversized drill bit and just clean it up so you can have a fresh material to work with instead of something all oily. So that's a trick I do on these, especially if you're going to fill it, it doesn't matter. So fill those 4, there's 2 other holes I got to do. And then the last thing we're going to have to deal with is tapping the oil feed holes. Alright, all the holes are plugged. You can see I just came in and drilled this one. It's just for 5/16 so we can get the pipe thread in there. Same here, just did a set punch. Just marked them dead on the top of the rocker shaft. And we'll drill it out and we're almost done. Just finished tapping all the holes, so you can see there's one in each rocker now, so each one will have an individual feed line. And everything's centered over the rocker arm hole, or the shaft hole. While I'm shaving these, I'm going to do the care, we're splitting them, I'm going to do this cam cover too. We're going to just take it on the Burking and sand down as close as we can, and then we'll hand do the rest of it. Do the cam cover while we're at it. And that's gonna be a wrap for tonight. You can see I got the cam cover all smoothed out. It's not nearly perfect, but I just want to give a rough idea for the polisher. But I think it looks pretty good on this motor at least. Rocker boxes are all done. Nice and smooth in for them too for the polisher. You can come in and see holes for each rocker shaft. And yeah, that's pretty much it. That's how to do split rocker boxes, and all that's left now is to polish or chrome them.